Hello students, welcome to BioWise with Aanchal. Let us quickly go through the specimen paper. Now this specimen paper should be considered as a practice tool. You should not consider the questions to be final for the boards, and at the same time there are many chapters which are missing in the specimen paper. You have to pay equal weightage to most of the chapters like chapter 2 structure of chromosomes. Most of the many questions are not there in the specimen paper, but this is just a practice tool which will provide you with the necessary format or realistic format of the board examination. They have given it in the note also, right? You can see here. Now, the specimen paper is in the subject provides a realistic format of the board examination question paper and should be used as practice tool. The questions for the board examinations can be set from any part of the syllabus. However, the format for the board examination will remain the same. Okay, this is for the format practice. So let us quickly begin with the questions. The first question, Alan's blood report shows an abnormal decrease in the number of RBC he is suffering from. Now here in this question, they have told you about RBC. So RBC is erythrocytes. So you remember erythro. Now, semia is increase in the blood or it is related to blood. Now they have asked abnormal decrease. So abnormal decrease is erythropenia. Polycythemia is increase in the RBC. Glycosuria is increase in the glucose level in urine. That is during diabetes mellitus, extreme when a person has too much of sugar in the blood, then the chances of release of glucose in the urine increases. That is glycosuria. And hemophilia is the blood do not clot. It's a genetic disorder, right? Moving to the next question. A farmer notices that the storing ripe mangoes with unripe ones speeds up the ripening process. The phytohormone responsible for this phenomenon is ethylene. Okay, the gaseous hormone responsible for ripening. Moving to the next, I hope you know the function of all the other hormones of the plant. They are also called phytohormones. Oxygen is produced during the light dependent reaction of photosynthesis. This is true, right? Do not go into the option right now, okay? Always read the assertion, find out whether it's true or false, and then go to the reason. Now, oxygen is produced during the light dependent reaction, that is, photolysis of water produces oxygen. So, this is a true statement. Oxygen is released as a byproduct during photolysis. So, this both the statements are true, and oxygen is, whether this reason is correct to A. So, what will be the answer? Both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of A. This is the correct answer. Then moving to the next. Rina gets emotionally distressed or stressed when the school examinations are approaching. That is so true. Which hormone is responsible for this condition? Now, which hormone is responsible? She is stressed. So you don't have to worry much about what is the stress hormone in human beings. It is adrenaline or epinephrine. Both is correct. So here adrenaline. The diagram given here is neutrophil. They have told you it's a neutrophil. It has numerous lobed nucleus. What is the function of neutrophil? It engulfs the foreign particle, right? So what is the function of it? It is phagocytosis. Is it given in the option? Yes, it is phagocytosis. Moving to the next question, again assertion reasoning. Pituitary gland is the master gland. That is true. It regulates the activity of all other exocrine gland. Exocrine, it regulates the activity of endocrine gland. The second statement is false. So here pituitary gland is the master. A is true and R is false. So which is the first, that is first option is right. Okay. Moving to the next. Now look here. Aruna went to theater to watch a movie on a bright sunny morning. Right. As she comes out or as she came out of the theater, she felt a dazzling effect and could not open her eyes. The glaring effect. After few minutes of her vision became normal. Now here what is the thing going on? Here she is moving from a dark area to a light area. So she is showing adaptation. Right? So what is it there? Accommodation, adaptation. This is the right answer. Accommodation is far and near vision. Adaptation is light and dark vision. Okay. Mutation, sudden change and polarization in the nerve impulse that we are not studying here. Anyway, reflex action provide a survival advantage because they are Because they are, what will be the answer? Are controlled by the cerebrum? No. Are controlled by medulla oblongata? No. Require no conscious thought, allowing rapid response. Since brain is not involved in the reflex action, so it requires no conscious thought, allowing rapid response. Okay? And it always involves spinal cord. That is also right. That is not always true, but it requires no conscious thought. That is the right answer. Allowing rapid response is the right. Generally, what will the children do? Reflex action always involves spinal cord. But that is not telling you that how it is helping you in survival, right? So reflex action is helping you in survival because of its rapid response. Industrial melanism is a phenomenon by which the peppered moth die due to industrial growth? No. In polluted areas, became darker in color for better camouflage, became lighter in color due to natural selection, became resistant to industrial? No. Because in polluted areas, they not become darker in color for better camouflage. The darker one is selected, right? So in this case, this is the best option. Okay, in polluted areas became darker. It was darker one was selected if it is natural selection. Okay. Now moving to the next. The hormone that maintains the thickening of endometrium wall during the pregnancy, that is the thickening of the uterus. Thickening of the uterus, what is the pregnancy hormone? That is progesterone. Okay. The onset of menstruation of the human female, onset matlab start, that is menarche. Okay, the onset of menstruation, that is menarche. Okay, next one, the number of autosomes and allosomes present in the human cell. Now, autosomes, what is autosomes? Which is there in both male and female. So, there are 22 autosomes and one pair of allosome. So, what 22 autosomes? Where are 22 autosomes and 22 pair of autosomes and one pair of allosomes? Here is the right answer. 44 plus XX or 44 plus XY. Correct? Moving to the next. Cultural revolution favors a steep rise in human population. Identify the correct sequence. Now, cultural revolution favors the steep rise in population. Identify the correct sequence. So, what has happened first? First was tool making, scientific and industrial, and then agriculture. No. First was tool making, and then agriculture, and then scientific industrial. Right? So, where does it match? Tool making should be first. Tool making is here. Then agriculture, and then scientific and industrial. Children, these are all application based questions, not direct questions from your textbook. So until unless you understand the concept, you could not answer. You cannot answer all these questions. Okay. These are all on your understanding of the chapter. Now, Tanvi tried to match the phase of the menstrual cycle with the number of days given. Right. So here, uh, which one is right? Fine. So which one is 5 to 12 days? That is on 5th onwards. Always remember M fall, right? You talk about M fall. Menstrual phase, follicular phase, ovulatory phase, and luteal phase. This is in order. So 3 to 5 days is the menstrual phase. So R is correct. R, the first R, right? Menstrual phase. Then you have follicular phase, that is 5 to 12 days. And then you have got ovulatory phase, 13th or 14th day, and luteal phase. Now, children, this is little bit of common sense. You don't have to remember actually the name. You can go with the dates 3 to 5, 5 to 12, then 13, 14, and 15 to 28. So, which one is matching? The first one will be R. First one is R. So, in which case the first one is R? Let us see. Okay, which one is R? R, there is only one with the R. So this one is the right answer. Moving to the next. Aditya, who is fond of roller skating, is fond of roller skating. Identify the correct term which helps him to maintain his body balance. Now he is in dynamic movement. So he has got dynamic balance. Dynamic balance means what is working for him, and at the same time he has to maintain his balance. So you have to talk about the balance and the part of the brain responsible for coordination. Now what is that? Cerebellum, semicircular canals, and vestibule. The first one is only the right answer. Vestibule sclera is a part of eye, no. Cerebrum, no. Malleus, no. And here saccular stapes, cochlea, no. These are no. So first answer is the right answer. Moving to the next, give the biological terms for the following. Now here you can see the first one, the mixture of smoke and fog, smog. The inner lining of uterus, endometrium. I hope you know the spellings, right? So first one is smog. Second one is endometrium. Right? Second one is endometrium. Endometrium. Third one is, what is the third one? The pressure that is responsible for the movement of molecules to the corticals of the root. So that is root pressure. They have mentioned root, so root pressure. Then the ground substance present in chloroplast, ground substance, stroma, not stoma. Stoma is stomata singular, the stroma. And the fluid present between the layers of the meninges, that is cerebrospinal fluid. Do not write short form. Cerebrospinal spinal fluid. Okay, this is the right answer. Moving to the next. Given below is a diagram of the human heart. Read the information and fill the diagram and fill in the blanks. Okay, fine. The human heart pumps the blood throughout the body. Its size of the body is large feast. The heart is located, that the information is given to you. Okay. Now, very good. They have given you the options also. The heart is enclosed in a membrane called pericardium. The pericardium membrane. Why pericardium membrane? Pleura is on the lungs. The ventricles give rise to the two large blood vessels. The two large blood vessels, pulmonary, give rise to the two blood vessels, and aorta. Okay, these two, pulmonary vein and vena cava, come into the heart. Okay, and the flap of the cuspid valves are kept in position by discordant tendinae is asked almost every year. So you have to be very thorough with it. Dash arteries supply oxygenated blood to the walls of the heart. It is coronary. Okay, this is the answer. Moving to the next. Choose the odd term. Now here odd, and you have to give the category. It will be better you make the box in one column, write the odd categories, and the other column write the category of the remaining. Okay, so in this case, sulfur dioxide, oxygen, carbon monoxide, nitrogen dioxide. Here oxygen is the odd one out because rest are all pollutants. Okay, they are all air pollutants. Then pons, epidermis, xylem, and phloem. Pons is a part of brain. So rest belongs to the plant tissue. Plant tissue was in 9th standard. Pons is in the current standard. You should know about these terms. Absorption in plants, mein these terms are given. So epidermis, xylem, and phloem, they are plant tissues. They are involved in the, you can say they are the part of the plant vascular system or the layer cells, right? So they are the plant tissues. Tympanum, pinna, auditory canal, and malleus. In this case, malleus is odd one out because they are the part of outer ear. Then ureter, urethra, uterus, and renal pelvis. In this case, uterus and ureter, urethra, and uterus, and renal pelvis. Uterus. Uterus is the part of the female reproductive organ, right? Uterus, not ureter, uterus. So rest are the part of the urinary system. Okay, and this is reproductive system. Then you have stomata, lenticels, cuticle, and root hair. In this case, you have cuticle, root hair as an odd one out because rest are the places, or you can say the openings through which transpiration takes place. So parts through which transpiration happens, occurs, takes place, you can write like that. Okay. Moving to the next question. Rajiv, a 10-year-old boy, went to an ophthalmologist. Who is he? What doctor who takes care of the eye? He noticed a poster in the clinic with the question related to the parts of human eye. Help him answer the question. Now, which is the fluid that lubricates the eye? Right? Which is the fluid which lubricates the eye? Whether they are talking about lubrication, it is tears. Please do not write any aqueous humor, vitreous humor, and all those things. Which cells help in color vision? Vision ka which are the photoreceptors present for color vision? Cones. Which nerve sends the impulse? That is the nerve that is your optic nerve, right? Optic nerve. Then name the structure that gives color to the eye, the brown part or dark part or the green part or the sea green part. What is that which gives color to the eye? Is the iris. And name the part that allows the entry of light, the small black opening in the center which enlarges and reduces. That is the pupil. Okay, that is the pupil. Any doubt? Put it in the comment section. Now going to the next question. What is the next question? Now here, this is the male reproductive system given to you. You have to find out the exact function of all the things. Now the first one, which cell secretes the testosterone? The testosterone is secreted by the interstitial cells, or you can say this is the Leydig cells. So interstitial cells, the first one. Okay, the first one, interstitial cells. Then let us move to the next one. Transport sperm to the epididymis. Now, what is the who does this transport to the epididymis? That is your efferent epididymis. So यहाँ से epididymis. These are the sperm ducts. The efferent ducts. The efferent ducts transports the sperm to the epididymis. Okay, what is the next one? Next one. Store sperm till its maturation. That is this coiled structure. What is called it? Epididymis. The epididymis stores sperm till it is matured. Okay. What is the next one? Transport the sperm to the urethra. That is your vas deferens. Right? Cutting and ligating the vas deferens, vasectomy. Then produces sperm. Who produces sperm? The seminiferous tubule produces sperm. Thank God it has got 5 colors, so I can manage. Seminiferous, produces sperm. Regulates the temperature of the testis, scrotum, that is given in the option. That is already given to you in the example, right? Here it is given to you. So this is all about the match the following. Moving to the next. That is your section B. In this section, you have to do 4 questions. Okay. Now, menarche was given in the question also. You remember MCQ mein menarche was given. So what is menarche? Menarche is onset of puberty in the young females. That is called menarche. Okay. So it is onset of menstrual cycle or onset of puberty. It marks the beginning of the menstrual cycle. You write it and you get 1 mark. Young female is very important. In what form is water lost during transpiration and guttation from the plants? So you have to make a T table. In transpiration, the loss is in form of water vapor, and in guttation, the loss is in the form of water droplets. Right? In form of in transpiration, it is in the form of water vapor, and here in guttation, it is in the form of water droplets. Right? So why should I leave this? This is also onset of menstrual cycle. Menstrual cycle slash puberty in young females age 10 to 13 years. Okay? That is your 10 to 13 years. Fine. Then next one. Ayush was in the final round of the carom match. He was focusing intently on the strokes of the opponent player. Now, here he is looking at the opponent player. Which part of the brain helps Ayush to focus on the game? Focus on the game, eyes, occipital lobe, that is your cerebrum. Okay, and name the part of the brain that coordinates his muscles. Muscle coordination, cerebellum. Okay, cerebellum is the right answer. You write this and you get the marks. Okay, next one. Next question. State the permeability of the cell wall and the cell membrane. Now, cell membrane is semi-permeable. It is semi-permeable, and you can also write selectively permeable. Selectively permeable, right? Selectively permeable, you can write. And cell wall is freely permeable, right? You have to write freely word. Freely permeable. Okay? That is a freely permeable. Draw a neat label diagram of the artery and the vein. So here you have to draw three concentric circles. I hope you remember the diagram. So here in case of arteries, you have to draw a concentric circle with a very small lumen. Okay, and for vein, you have to draw a circles with a very large lumen. Okay, large lumen. And what are the things that you have to label? Now here 1 mark is for drawing and 2 marks is for label. So you have to label the lumen, right? You have to label the tunica externa, tunica media, and tunica interna. There are three things, three layers that you have to mention. Okay. So this will give you the complete diagram. This is your artery and this is your vein. Is that clear? So I hope you know the names, right, children? Tunica externa. Externa. This is your tunica. You have to write the full names, okay? Tunica media. This one is tunica interna. Tunica interna. And this one is lumen. Okay, from the diagram it's clear, arteries and veins. Now, what is excretion? Excretion is a removal of harmful nitrogenous waste from the body. Okay, removal of harmful nitrogenous waste from the body. Harmful nitrogenous waste from the body. Okay, that is important. Excretion is removal. Then differentiate between diabetes mellitus and diabetes insipidus. Diabetes mellitus is 1 minute. And with reference to the hormone involved. So diabetes mellitus, you have hyposecretion of insulin, right? So you have hyposecretion of insulin. You have to write, only hormone will not do, okay? You have to write hyposecretion, hyposecretion of insulin, insulin. And diabetes insipidus is hyposecretion of antidiuretic hormone. Hyposecretion of antidiuretic hormone, ADH. This will give you 1 plus 1 mark. Okay. Moving to the next. Give the common name and scientific name of the plant, which common name. So if you have to write common name, it is pea plant. Okay, it is pea plant. And for scientific name, you have to write Pisum sativum. Now, Pisum sativum, if you are writing, it should be underlined. Okay, it should be underlined. Pisum sativum. Okay, once you write it, it should be underlined. Otherwise, no marks. Right? Pisum and sativum. It should be underlined, children. Name the tonicity of the solution for a living cell to show endoosmosis. Endoosmosis means water is coming inside the cell. So for endoosmosis, the cell has to be placed in a hypotonic solution. So in case of endoosmosis, the cell should be placed in hypotonic solution, right? And in case of exoosmosis, it should be placed in hypertonic solution. Is that clear? Okay, moving to the next. Hypertonic solution. Cell, if water is moving in, hypo, and if the water is moving out, that is hyper. Will you remember this? Moving to the next. Next one is your plant hormones are produced in extremely low concentration. Extremely low concentration in the plants to regulate the physiological activity and the tropic movements. Healthy plant senescence and the leaf falls. Now here what is happening? The leaf is falling. Senescence is happening. Cell death is happening. Name one plant responsible for the change shown in the above diagram. Now here, first of all, it's a negative growth. So always remember ABA will be a very apt answer. Right? ABA. You can write abscisic acid. Okay, that is, write the full form. Okay, abscisic acid, full form. Or there is one more, ethylene. Ethylene also helps in fruit ripening, right? So it helps in growth towards death. So the ethylene can also be a very good example for this same change. But if there is a negative growth inhibitor, senescence death, go with ABA. Okay. Then identify the hormone that has an opposite effect to one depicted. Now here they are talking about growth inhibition. So name a growth promoter, auxin. Auxin helps in the formation of new leaves and all. So you can write auxin. Give an example of a plant that shows thigmotropism. Thigmotropism matlab any plant which has got tendrils. So pea plant has got tendrils. They have asked you give an example of a plant. Grapevines, right? Grapevines have got the tendrils. So grapes, pea, write down plant, okay? Don't write only pea and only grape. Write down pea plant and grape plant like that, okay? Pea plant. Then you can write grape plant, grapevines, you should write, right? So you can write that way. Next one. Next question. So I hope you know this is so easy, you know, they have written more and we have to, as a student, we have to write less. Non-biodegradable waste. This is a very important question. Non-biodegradable waste or the biodegradable waste, try to write in a way where microorganism word is there. So non-biodegradable matlab the waste which cannot be decomposed by the microorganisms, that is called non-biodegradable waste. Okay. Then next one, that is they persist, they stay in the environment. Name two objectives of Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. So this I have been telling since long time. Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, pehla is Swachh, that is keep your surrounding clean, your society clean, your community clean. And the other one is ODF, that is Open Defecation Free India. That provision for toilets and latrines in the places where open defecation is completely stopped. Right, so you have to write to eliminate open defecation and to keep your surroundings clean. These are the two objectives of Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. Arrange the following in the food chain. Now, food chain mein, this is you have to find out the food chain. In this case, which one is a producer? Tell me. The producer, will mark the producer with the green, and then we start with the order. So here algae is chlorophyll containing, so it's a producer, and in this case it is the cabbage which is a part of the plant which is the producer. Yes. Now let us move ahead. So what is algae? Algae will be consumed by the larva. Larva will be consumed by the small fish. Small fish will be consumed by the seal, right? And the seal is being eaten by the penguins. Correct? Then you have got woodpecker, caterpillar, mountain lion, and fox. Cabbage. Cabbage is eaten by the caterpillar. Caterpillar will be picked up by the woodpecker. Woodpecker will be eaten up by the fox. And the fox will be eaten by the lion. Right? The smartest one at the topmost position. Is that clear? So this is your food chain. Now, food chain biomagnification, very important for the exams. Mention the number of cranial nerves and the spinal nerves. Cranial nerves are 12 pairs, 12 pairs, and spinal nerve is 31 pairs. Easy? What I'm writing are the keywords, huh? Now, Surya, next one. Surya used a plant with variegated leaf. Variegated leaf matlab unko photosynthesis. They have to study photosynthesis. Variegated leaf for the experiment on photosynthesis. He tested the leaf with iodine after keeping the plant in sunlight for a few hours. Which part of the leaf will turn blue-black after the iodine test? Now tell me which part? It will be the green part. Variegated means what? The part, the leaf has got white and green part. So which part will show positive test for starch, that is blue-black coloration? Iodine test, that is green part of the leaf will show the coloration. What does this tell us about the role of chlorophyll in photosynthesis? Like, chlorophyll is important for photosynthesis. Green plants contain pigments, which are, so what is chlorophyll? So chlorophyll is a green pigment, because you wrote green part, so it has to be green pigment, which traps sunlight for the process of photosynthesis. For the process of photosynthesis. Matlab chlorophyll is important for the process of photosynthesis. Yes? Now write down the overall equation for photosynthesis. Now in this equation, children, you have to write what is the equation? 6 carbon dioxide molecules, 6 CO2 plus 12 H2O in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. This will give you 1 mark. And then that will give you, but here it is only for 1 mark. This question can be asked for 2 marks. So reactant plus sunlight and chlorophyll plus product. What is the product? Glucose C6H12O6 plus 6 molecules of oxygen and 6 molecules of water will give you complete marks in this question. Moving to the next. Mendel's law of dominance. Now, last board examination, independent assortment was asked. Law of dominance is there in your specimen paper. It can be any law. They can ask any law. Okay. So, what is law of dominance? One of the pair of the characters present together, only one is able to express. The one which is dominant is able to express, and the one which is recessive is not expressed in the presence of the dominant trait. So exactly the statement from the textbook, you have to know for Mendel's law. The 3 laws, you have to write the way it is given in the textbook. State the rate of transpiration when the air around the plant has more atmospheric humidity. Abhi more humidity matlab less transpiration. More humidity, it is less transpiration, right? Less transpiration. And hot and dry mein you have more transpiration. You can write more transpiration. Full form, this is also important. What is the full form of ACTH? A for adrenocorticotropic hormone. Corticotropic hormone. Or adrenocorticotropic hormone. And ADH is antidiuretic hormone. Antidiuretic hormone. Okay. Now, which part of the air equalizes the air pressure? Eustachian tube. Eustachian tube on the either side of the eardrum. And where is this structure located? Located in the middle ear, right? Located in the middle ear. Located in the middle ear. Correct? Next one. Santosh loved his garden, especially his pea plant. One year he noticed that all the pea plant he grew from one batch now is modern Mendel. He's working with the pea plants. Curious, he took the seeds from one of these plants, newer generation. To his surprise, 75% of the new plants has round seeds, but 25 had wrinkled seeds. Same as 75 is to 25 is what? 3 is to 1. So the ratio is same as the monohybrid cross. So what were the genotypes of the parent plant that Santosh originally planted? Now, since Santosh loved especially his pea plant, he noticed that all the pea plants he grew from one batch of the seed had round seeds, right? So now question is, what were the genotypes of the parent plant that Santosh originally planted? So what is given here? That one batch has round seeds. Matlab all were showing the dominant trait, right? Here batch had round seeds. Matlab this is F1, correct? So F1, what were the genotypes? Genotypes here will be of the parent plant will be what? That they will be homozygous, right? The genotype of the parent plant that he planted. So this one he is crossing F1. That is, this case is the F2. This case is the F2 and this one is the F1. And they have asked for the genotype of the parent plant. Parent plant ka genotype kya hoga? They will be homozygous, right? That is RR cross R small r small r. So they will be homozygous dominant and homozygous recessive. Correct? Which trait is the dominant? Which trait is dominant here? Round. That is so obvious. And what is the genotypic ratio of the F2? 75 is to 75 is to 225. मतलब यहाँ पे genotypic ratio is asked. So 1 is to 2 is to 1. Clear? Next one, define natality. Natality is what? Number of newborns, live birth. Right? So let us write what is natality? Live birth per thousand individuals per year. Write in sentence. I have written in short, you write in sentence. Differentiate between sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system on the basis of heartbeat. Now heartbeat में sympathetic is stress, so heartbeat increases. Heartbeat, I am writing HB, heartbeat, nahi, HB will be hemoglobin, so I can't write. Heartbeat increases. Correct? Heartbeat increases. And parasympathetic mein heartbeat becomes normal, you can write, or decreases. So heartbeat decreases and becomes normal. Okay? Heartbeat decreases. Don't leave it decreases, huh? Then also there is a problem. So heartbeat decreases and becomes normal because parasympathetic ka kaam hai to bring things normal to normal. Okay, so becomes normal. Okay, this is your heartbeat. This question is also done. Now moving to the next. Meena covered a potted plant as shown below with a transparent plastic sheet. Matlab she is studying transpiration. She observed water droplets kept in the sunlight. Now what is the question? Name the process. Transpiration. Define the process. So what is the process? It is the loss of water in the form of water vapor from the aerial parts of the plant. That is your transpiration. Mention the region of kidney that we find in glomerulus. Mention the region of kidney where we can find glomerulus and Henle's loop. So glomerulus is in the renal cortex and Henle's loop is in the where? Medulla. Okay, so this is in renal cortex and this one is in renal medulla. Root hair ka diagram. This is so repeated question. Now root hair diagram, please draw it clearly. 1 mark is for diagram and 2 marks is for the correct label. 2 to 4 labels you can draw. Okay, diagram 1 and label 2. Okay, you always remember it should have the different cells and then the root hair, right? And it's a plant cell, so it should have a cell membrane. Okay, it should have a cell membrane. Then again, it should have the nucleus, right? It should have the and nucleus and a a large vacuole. So this structure should be drawn very neatly. The diagram of the root hair, you can find the link in the description if you want. What is ozone layer depletion affect the life on Earth? Yes, ozone layer allows the UV radiations, do not allow the UV radiations to reach on Earth. So how does it affect? You have to write causes skin cancer or any kind of skin ailment. It allows the entry of UV radiations on the Earth. Kindly mention UVB radiations and skin cancer as the answer. It also affects the marine life and reduces crop yield. Mention two body features of Australopithecus. Australopithecus, our ancestors, huh? Now, cranial capacity I have already told you, and bipedalism I have already told you to learn. So you can write those two here. And you can write about chin. Chin started in Cro-Magnon. So उसके पहले जितने हैं all have chin absent. The chin absent, protruded face, that is called prognathes face, projects, that is the eyebrow ridges, cranial capacity, you can write Australopithecus, that is around 600 cc. You can write that. Identical twins are always of the same gender because they are monozygotic. And during the zygote formation, the gender is already decided. This question is of 2 marks. So here the marks will be like identical twins are formed from single zygote, 1 mark. During the zygote formation, the gender is determined from the sperm, from the fusion of the sperm and the egg, that what will be the gender of the progeny. So that these two explanations will give you marks, okay? And they develop from the single fertilized egg. So gender is already decided in the zygote. After the gender is decided, there is splitting of the zygote in whatever stage it can be. So you have to mention 2 points here, okay? First, monozygotic, that is from the single zygote, and the gender is already decided. Why should we not insert sharp objects in the ear to remove wax? Give a suitable reason. Now, sharp object may rupture the eardrum, right? And eardrum is responsible for hearing. So 2 sentences, again 2 points. In a school experiment, few students grow plant in the pot placed in a horizontal. Yes. So name the tropic movement here. Now in this case, you can see the tropic movement, that is movement of the shoot towards the light. So it is phototropism. Why do roots always grow downwards? Because the roots are positively geotropic in nature, and they always, you can write geotropic, hydrotropic, whatever. Hydrotropic will not tell you always down, okay? If there is a priority given to the root, they prefer hydrotropism. But when the why roots grow downwards? Because they are positively geotropic. Which phytohormones regulate the above tropic movement? It is auxin, okay? Auxin. So this is all. Now the answers are already given to you. There are 2 mistakes, I think, in the answer key, but I think I have explained it well. If in case of any doubt you have, please write it in the comment section, and keep studying, keep learning. Happy learning, children.